G'day from the Bureau with your national weather forecast around the country for Tuesday, the 14th of July. And we've seen a fair bit of wintry weather through southeastern parts of the country again on Tuesday, particularly through Tasmania and parts of Victoria. We're seeing cold, wet and windy conditions. Also alpine snow through parts of New South Wales, Victoria, and down to low levels through parts of Tasmania early on. But notice how quickly that clears out by Tuesday night, and this massive high pressure system pretty much dominating the weather right around the country, from Brisbane to Broome and everywhere in between. So let's have a look at all of that in more detail. Firstly, in Queensland, where that ridge will be ridged into much of the state, might see a few offshore showers through the central and Capricornia coast. Maybe a couple of those will move inland, but generally pretty isolated in general, and maybe a couple of showers up around the far part of Cape York as well. But otherwise, a very sunny day right across the state of Queensland, living up to its name, the Sunshine State. Temperatures in the low 20s to teens, particularly around the range, getting up into the mid-teens through central areas, teens, 20s I should say, low 20s, mid-20s, and then high 20s to near 30s through northern parts of Queensland. Southeast Queensland looking at a cool start, and then a dry and sunny day, 23 degrees in Brisbane. Moving down into New South Wales, and we've got temperatures here, again, pretty on the cool side. We'll see that front just clip through southeastern parts of New South Wales, bringing showers, maybe some local hail and thunder, and snow through parts of our southern and central tablelands around the highest peaks. But that'll just be some cool winds by the time it gets to the coast, and most of that will clear out by Tuesday night. Temperatures around the 20 degree mark on the coast, into the mid to high teens through inland parts of New South Wales, and maybe in the far northeast getting up into the low 20s there. Sydney, a cool start and then a sunny 20 degrees. Canberra, cold, showery, snow in the hills, only 11, but the wind chills will make it feel even colder. But that should be the last day of that type of weather. Moving down into Victoria, another cold, wet and windy one through much of southern and mountain Victoria on Tuesday as this final trough system sweeps across southern areas. Winds will be gusty, particularly through our elevated areas. We're likely to see widespread snow once again through our alpine resorts, and maybe some damaging winds up there as well. Could also see some pretty big tides as well, particularly on the high tide in the early morning hours, so watch out for that, particularly through eastern parts of Victoria. Otherwise, a general easing trend by the time we get to Tuesday night. Temperatures in the low to mid-teens across much of the state. Dry in the north, but widespread showers and strong winds in the south. Melbourne looking at a showery 16 degrees. Moving down into Tasmania, and it's wet and windy and wild across western and southern parts of the state on Tuesday as this final system moves through. We could see damaging winds through western and southern areas, snow to low levels, maybe 800 metres, maybe 600 metres, depending on exactly where that cold air moves through. We're also likely to see some very elevated seas and swell, particularly on the high tide through southern and southeastern areas of Tasmania. We could see some inundation of low-lying areas, particularly on the high tide. So if you live near water, please watch out for that early on Tuesday. Cold, windy, wind chills will make it feel even colder than these numbers you see here, 10 or 12 through most of the state. Hobart looking at a cold and windy 10 degrees with showers passing through, particularly during the morning and early afternoon hours. Moving up into South Australia, and the final round of showers will be lingering through southern agricultural areas during the Tuesday morning, but that'll all ease out by the time we get to Tuesday afternoon with just a couple of isolated showers by the time the sun sets. And that's thanks to this high pressure system moving into the bight by Tuesday night. That's going to clear out a lot of the weather through much of southern parts of the state. Dry and partly cloudy in the north, cool, showery and cloudy through southern areas as well. Temperatures in the mid to high teens through southern areas, getting into the low 20s in the north. Adelaide could see a few showers, particularly early on in the day, then should be easing by night time, 17 degrees. Now moving into WA, we're on the other side of the high, so we're getting more offshore flow and some warmer temperatures there. So along the coast, we're still pretty cool in those high teens, but notice by the time we get to the west coast, we're looking at temperatures there in the low to mid-20s and into the high 20s through northern parts of WA. Staying dry pretty much statewide as well with lots of sunshine. Perth, after a cool start, looking at a sunny 21 degrees. Moving up into the tropical north, dry season, I should say, up there. So we're continuing to see that kind of, dry, warm and sunny weather. Just the usual few showers about the parts of the top end and also about about parts of eastern Cape York. Otherwise, temperatures below 20 in the south, mid-20s in central areas, and low 30s across northern areas and into the Kimberley as well, with lots of sunshine. Darwin looking at a dry, sunny 32 degrees. Now, with a bit of weather going on through southeastern parts of the country over the next 24 to 36 hours, make sure to get latest forecasts for your area via our website and app, and I'll be back here tomorrow to give you Wednesday's forecast.